State of Decay 3, we first saw it back in 2020 with this trailer that's playing in the background, but since then it's been relatively quiet. Unfortunately, there's not been really any news about the game, which is a massive shame because it is the third installment of the State of Decay franchise, and the franchise as a whole has done really well, especially for Xbox. Now, on June the 11th, Xbox has a showcase which will feature some new and some returning games. If you are a fan of State of Decay and survival games in general, make sure you subscribe to the channel, drop a like on the video, I'd greatly appreciate it. Now, as I said, State of Decay was first announced back in 2020. That is 3 years ago, and since then it's been relatively quiet. State of Decay 2 has seen many awesome updates. They've currently just released, I think, update 30-something, 32, or something along those lines, or 33, which was brilliant. That update is really cool. There's loads of good stuff on there. If you are a fan of the games and you haven't actually checked out this update, I recommend go and checking it out. There's some cool stuff, and it'll keep you entertained for hours. But on State of Decay 3, we've seen one trailer and nothing else, but the Xbox Showcase is up on the 11th of June, which has been slated to feature loads and loads of new trailers for brand new unannounced titles and loads of information on previously announced titles, so we could potentially see some promising news on State of Decay 3. Whether that is a release date or just more news and another trailer or the features that we're going to be seeing in general is yet to be seen, because it does look like we're going to be seeing some new features, especially with this clip here with the deer that looks like it's about to attack, which we've not seen that before in State of Decay. Now, if you've never played State of Decay and you're curious, it is a upcoming survival horror game. I wouldn't really say it as a horror game, but it's classified as a survival horror game. I mean, 3 could definitely go down that route. Looking at the trailer, it looks a hell of a lot more dark and more realistic than the previous 2. But it's published by Xbox and developed by Undead Labs. It's the third installment in the State of Decay series and is set open world, which is good. The previous open worlds have been nice, they've been relatively big, and each game has had several different maps to it. Hopefully the third one will go the same rather than one larger general map. But we shall see. The game will take place in a post-apocalyptic world where players will be surviving against a horde of zombies. We're going to be finding our bases, securing our bases, and creating communities. That is the general gist around the State of Decay itself. The game will feature new locations, which is the Pacific Northwest. We're going to be scavenging for resources, building shelters, and fighting off zombie threats. The game will introduce many new features, including new enemy types, which are feral zombies, which are faster and more aggressive than regular zombies. Now, we have previously seen feral zombies in the franchise themselves, but these feral zombies are going to be a little bit beefier from what I've seen, well, from what I've read. I can't find any images of these new feral zombies, so they could just be the original feral zombies. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. State of Decay 3 will also have multiplayer, so we will be able to team up with other players to form communities and work together to survive. The game includes a dynamic weather system, which is going to affect gameplay massively, and stealth as well. Stealth is going to be a very key element of this game, as we saw in State of Decay 2. State of Decay 2 introduced a much more stealthier approach to situations, where you'll be able to sneak in, search for materials and items, but sometimes searching for those materials and items could create a lot of noise, which will bring zombies to you, which is definitely going to make things a lot harder. And I hope State of Decay 3 continue the way that State of Decay 2 went, and they're going to emphasize more on that aspect of you will have to sneak around a little bit, because if you don't, you're just going to get your ass absolutely handed to you. Now, apparently the Blood Plague system from State of Decay 2 will also be carrying over to 3. I'm not 100% sure if that is correct, so don't quote me on that. I did just read something where it says that it could be transferring over to 3. In what capacity is yet to be seen, whether it's going to be the whole blood nest like we've seen in 2, which occupies a vast area of the map. You have to go defeat the actual nest itself, and then that will bring down the amount of plague zombies that are in the area, or whether it's just going to be completely different is yet to be seen. Either way, I'm excited, even if they do add it, because the improvements on it over the second game, will be massive. Now, Xbox has had a pretty rough year so far, especially when you consider Redfall. Redfall was a complete flop. It was horrendously under-optimized, filled with bugs, and the player base has already dwindled massively. Which I think, if Redfall handled right, could have been a really good game. But unfortunately, it lacked any form of continual playstyle. It just got repetitive and it got boring very fast. So hopefully, State of Decay brings something new and something very, very positive to the Xbox world. If you don't know, Undead Labs is actually a company that is owned by Xbox itself, so this will be an Xbox title. With the way things at Xbox have been going, they need a little bit more credibility. So I think State of Decay could do that. It is a well-established title. It has a very, very ferociously supportive community to it. So bringing State of Decay out sooner rather than later is only going to bring good things for Xbox. And Phil Spencer has also announced that he wants to release a larger title every quarter. So that is 4 AAA games every year. That is a lot, and that is between, obviously, all of the companies that are under Xbox's control, and there's a hell of a lot there. So they've got a lot of teams to choose from. So we could see State of Decay fall into one of those windows. I highly doubt that it will be this year, but it could potentially be the start of 2024. Hopefully it is. I would really like to see it sooner than that, but I highly doubt we will. They could go for a Christmas release, which a lot of games do. It's a very big market around Christmas time, so there is the potential there for that too. But considering we haven't really seen or heard anything about the game, I highly doubt that that will happen. It would be nice if it did happen, but we shall see. And with State of Decay 2, still seeing some very, very heavy development and some rather large updates over the previous weeks and months. To be fair, the update cycle of State of Decay has been relatively steady ever since its release. They continue to add awesome updates, awesome new items, weapons, and timed events, which is great. The love for State of Decay has always been there from the community, and I think State of Decay 3 will see that love as well. Hopefully, they don't change the core gameplay all too much, and those fans will transfer over to State of Decay 3, providing it's a good title and is not full of bugs and is very boring later stages, just like Redfall was. So overall, anything to do with State of Decay is going to be a positive, and it is highly likely that we will see something, at least something, on the 11th of June. But either way, stay tuned, because if we do find out more news, I will be reporting it as soon as we find out. For now though, I've been Wired, you guys have been awesome. Subscribe to the channel if you are a fan of State of Decay and survival games in general, and stick around for much more State of Decay news. I've been Wired, you guys have been awesome, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.